The first quick one was, can I put democratizing the Constitution and on the website and a book list of things that people might want to read? Good idea. Great idea. Now, the last householder I sent out was about democracy, and although you got it in your mailboxes as a paper copy, it's also available online, but we can start adding books. I'll tell you right now, one I highly recommend in relation to questions I got earlier about minority parliaments is a book by Peter Russell, Professor Emeritus at University of Toronto, called Two Cheers for Minority Government. It's a very helpful short read, gives you a really good perspective on Canadian parliamentary history. The second question is, what the heck is going on that the National Energy Board is in charge of deciding when fish are in trouble if there's a pipeline project? This also goes back to C-38. The Fisheries Act was gutted, they removed habitat protections, but they also put in there that whenever a pipeline is being built, the National Energy Board, and not the Species at Risk Act, and not the Navigable Waters Protection Act, has primacy. And then under the Fisheries Act, it said that the regulation of fisheries can be delegated to other agencies by agreement. So that's how the National Energy Board is now going to be the only agency that looks at fish habitat. DFO's evidence to the Enbridge Joint Review Panel was that they had not had the resources to do any review of the hundreds of streams that would be impacted by the Enbridge project should it go ahead. So DFO, on the record, had not reviewed the impact on fish of any kind. And now, under the process that Harper has created, it will be the National Energy Board that will be responsible for fisheries, endangered species, and navigable waters if they're in the path of a pipeline. So what do we think of this? Well, it's outrageous. Can we get it changed? Potentially through court action, because there are legal requirements under the Fisheries Act still that would call into question. Remember when the remember when the Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans delegated responsibility for aquaculture to the BC government? The court overturned that, so we can't do that. So that they have monkey wrenched the laws and weakened them. I think there's still enough shreds of responsibility for fisheries that there could be a lawsuit that would reverse that. And then, of course, there's the First Nations lawsuits that can also bring in questions of the protection of their territories. And when you're dismantling your environmental laws, back to our international invitation, the great irony is, how is it that eventually Barack Obama is going to make a decision on the Keystone Pipeline when he said it matters what the impact is on greenhouse gases? It matters what our environmental laws look like. Taking an axe to our environmental laws and destroying them, while at the same time having no climate plan, is actually hurting the chances of getting the White House to have enough public relations cover, frankly, to approve a project that Harper really wants. Now, you said maybe if we started seeing trade sanctions, it would affect his decision-making. I don't know anything clearer than that the Keystone Project is in trouble specifically because he hasn't had a climate plan in place, and specifically because groups in the United States that are fighting Keystone are able to bring forward all these examples of the destruction of our environmental laws. It's a huge irony, and one that doesn't seem to be getting Stephen Harper's attention. So in the coming months, I'll close with this because we should probably go. But in the coming months, I will be going to Washington to continue to lobby against the Keystone Pipeline and to tell U.S. legislators exactly how things are in Canada on climate and energy and environmental laws, because I think I should. So I'm going to do that in early February. And I hope to get the Lyme disease bill passed in February and get Michael Chong's bill passed. And when I come back to report to you again, I hope I'll have a long list of good news items, including Stephen Harper's premature resignation. I'm in a church here. We're in the church basement. So I can say it's a Christian impulse on my part to want to spend more time with his family and less time with the rest of us. So thank you very much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.